Thank you guys for all coming today. So I'm going to go over some tips for dealing with the holiday season and not gaining what I like to call the Festive 15. The first little tip I have is an easy one and also kind of a boring one that we all know, and it is to drink water. And this one is often just okay, yeah, whatever, I'll drink water, but it really helps to aid in digestion. Anything else that you're eating, it's going to help your body assemble the nutrients better. It's going to help you detoxify from any of the sugar and alcohol that we are taking in. And then also just in terms of helping with your nutrition, it can help to sort of just control your hunger levels. A lot of times we mistake being hungry for being thirsty. It reduces muscle fatigue and bloating. It also helps your skin, helps you poop if you get constipated, which is the biggest issue for everyone. So just because it's not as exciting as a glass of wine doesn't mean we should neglect it. Stuff first. So this one's sort of in terms of if you're going to a party or if you have a big dinner. And the first thing that you want to be focusing on is eating a lot of vegetables because, again, they're low in calories, they're high in fiber, they are high in water, so they help to fill you up, and they're also high in nutrition. You really want to focus on those roast vegetables or the steamed veggies, and then you want to go for the other good stuff. So you have your lean, good quality protein, so those could be your turkey, your chicken, your tofurkey. I don't know if anyone is into that, I'm not. Your salmon, so whatever you guys are having with dinner, and then also your good whole grain, like a quinoa salad or a millet salad. So keeping it nice and clean, loading up on those good, filling, nutritious foods. And when you are loading sort of up on those, eating the good stuff first, it usually leaves a little bit less room in your stomach for the more indulgent stuff. So then by all means have that too, but you probably won't be able to have as much. So our next one is to eat beforehand. So this is a huge one. I find a lot of people, if they know that they have a big dinner or a big event, they'll sort of try to not eat anything all day, or they'll eat very little because they're trying to sort of save room for this big splurge that they're going to have. And I find that kind of takes away from everything because when you're hungry, it makes you hangry. So you're going to show up to a party probably not in the best mood and be super irritable, and then you're going to just beeline into whatever looks good. You're not going to be able to sort of take the time to say hi to the people who are having you and to walk around and see what maybe looks good to you. So you really want to prevent that by having things throughout the day that are going to give you lots of energy and make you not feel ravenous by the time you get there. Maybe having a nice omelet in the morning, or you're having like a big quinoa salad with some avocado, something that's really going to make you feel good and not like you need to devour everything the second you get there. A lot of times when you go to a holiday party, there's everything, and not just stuff that you can have like at Christmas, but stuff you can have at any time of year. One thing that I like to think is keep it festive, because there's certain things that you can't have all year. So
gingerbread donuts.
Exactly. If we focus on things that we can't have all year, it's going to be a lot more special. This next one is the pick your poison. So this one I find is the most helpful for people who are trying to make healthy choices. So you show up and say there's brie cheese and crackers, and you're like, oh, that looks great. And then there's some chocolate that you know you're going to want later, and then you know that there's a dinner that you're going to want. Sort of focus on what really looks good to you. On arrival, do a lap, talk to people, have some water. So do a lap.
Scan.
It's also exercise to walk around the party, say hi to people. The things that you actually want to eat and enjoy them. It's as simple as that, really. You try something and then you're not really loving it. So say you see this beautiful shortbread dipped in chocolate and you're like, oh, that looks so great, I'm going to have it. And then you take a bite and you're like, oh my God, I think it's from Loblaws. Someone just really made this.
Not worth the calories.
Exactly, it's not worth it. So then don't ever feel bad about being like, well, that's not the poison I want. And so if you're not obsessed with it, don't waste your time, don't waste space in your stomach, and you can move on, and it saves room for something else down the line. it's good to have a small portion. So like having one of each of these adorable little bite-sized mouth, you can still have the tiny little pieces, but it also sort of doesn't make you feel like you're missing out. You feel satisfied, you're still getting everything that you want to eat. Then the next one here is to skip seconds, because when you're at a dinner, how easy is it to just like, oh my god, that was so good, I need more. So you go up and you're getting seconds, and then you're like, oh my god, that was so good, you forget you've already had first. So you're like, okay, I can go back again and again. And we forget that it takes 30 minutes for us to even realize we are full. What's great is remind yourself that how delicious something is, you can always have leftovers the next day. Like if you're going to someone in your family's house for dinner, they're gonna let you bring Tupperware hopefully and bring home stuff. This one we kind of got to earlier. Don't eat shit.
Bottom line.
Plainly put. So unless like that's your poison, is you know that you love, like for instance, like the crappy Loblaws cake and that's what you want, then you have it, because that's, you picked your poison, you're having that Loblaws cake, you're sticking to it. But picking a cookie that's really festive, like a snowflake shortbread cookie that's been bought from Loblaws and has like red dye number 7 and like brain cancer frosted all over it? Or do you want to have like a delicious homemade gluten-free shortbread cookie that someone's put love into, that's going to do a lot more for your body and to satisfy you than this little sugar rush that you're getting? So basically that would be my don't eat shit rule, which I tend to love. This one's pretty simple, like sauces and dips. A lot of times you go and there's like that big cheese dip or like the 7-layer dip. You're not going to think about the dip calories when you're eating. You're just like, oh, I was eating vegetables. What do you mean? Like, it doesn't matter if you had half a cup of melted cheese on them. To be the substitution queen. For this one, I think that you shouldn't be turning down any of your social invites because you're like, oh god, no, I'm just like putting on weight, because that's what we're all here for, is to sort of learn how to keep it healthy through the holidays. So if you're going out for, this can be applied to like the holiday season or not. If you're going out for brunch, dinner, anywhere, you can always check out the menu online beforehand. And usually if you're nice, people will accommodate your request. So say you don't want to have cheese and like croutons on your salad, or you wanted avocado instead, making those little tiny adjustments that can be helpful in the long term. But in terms of holiday gatherings, you can always bring healthier options too. Like one thing to do is look at recipes online and be like, oh, I can make a way healthier version than this 7-layer dip. This is a nice thing you could bring to a parties that you know yourself that there's going to be healthy options, and then other people, or like a quinoa salad, something like that. You can bring something, a dish with you to a party. It's really nice for the host, and then other people too who are sort of health conscious will be happy that there's something healthy that they can have. So it is okay to say no. Just simply insist like, I'm full, I don't need any more. And if people are still sort of like, have this, have it, no, it's so good, but I made it just for you, it's your favorite thing ever, then you can always just take some and you can leave it on your plate, or you can have a bite to be nice. You don't have to eat it. So it's always just, you're the one who's in charge. It might motivate other people around you because they'll see how healthy and how good you feel after leaving the party versus having to wear sweatpants or leggings or unbuttoning your jeans because you've been just having stuff that you maybe didn't even want in the first place. So it's not called a haul a month. It's a haul a day, not a haul a week, not a haul a month. Usually you have to kind of remind yourself that while these things are all great, and while we're sticking to our festive things, if it's something that we're going to be able to have all year round, there's no need to then sort of be like shoving our face and having it all the time. Also because you get sort of then used to feeling sick and full and bloated and cranky. So we all know how we feel after an uncomfortable family dinner, like you've eaten too much in general. And then it's easy to just keep doing it and be like, oh, well, I already ate shitty, so I'm just going to do it again today. But getting in that mindset is kind of the worst thing that you can do for your body. You want to try to get right back on track the next day, have a workout, drink lots of water, maybe mix in a green smoothie and call it a day. Make better choices the next time.
Think about eating a little bit of junk every single day.
80-20. So I think if
So
you
then when you want to have, then you eat your
You're
late
not-
every day.
then have 2 squares. Like if you're having 2 squares, I
Every
think
day.
you should never not have something just because, like, you can have
Because they're gonna go off the rails.
exactly intuitively, which is sort of, I think, the best way to go about things instead of worrying about like calories and carbs and fat grams and everything. It's sort of like more listening to your body and to your own hunger, because every body's different. There's not a diet that someone can follow that is good for them that's going to be good for someone else. Some people's metabolism works really well to digest lots of carbs. Some people do better with mostly protein. So it's all sort of like getting to know your own body. So the first one here is eating mindfully. So this one is hard because a lot of times at dinner, if you show up, you haven't eaten or you haven't done a lap, you haven't filled up on the good stuff first, you're just gonna shove all the food in your mouth at dinner and then you're gonna feel stuffed, go back for seconds and ignore all those other rules that we went over. It's not exactly all about the food. It's sort of nice to get together with family, maybe friends, people you haven't seen in a long time. So it's nice to take breaks from your meal, join in the conversation, and then just check in with yourself. Like notice, am I actually that hungry? Am I satisfied? Do I feel good? And then this one, knowing yourself. So it's along the same lines, because we can all be our own worst enemies. It's the thing, it's ingrained in all people. We're all our own hardest critics. We're all the hardest on ourselves. So if you know your bad habits, you can sort of prevent them and you can avoid them in future. You can come up with different strategies. Like if you know you're going to a friend's party and you know that no matter how much you could try to drink smart, you're still going to get absolutely bombed. And then you're going to miss your workout the next day and it's going to be a write-off and you're going to be ordering pizza. If you know that about yourself, you can think of a strategy. Like maybe you're going to make sure you go to the gym before, or maybe you're going to just try like alternating the water in between drinks. And lastly is enjoying yourself. So the holidays are all about great things like this, like everyone coming together and sort of just being with people that you love. So it's not a time to sort of stress out about diet or weight loss or anything, but also just keeping a positive mindset, having fun, taking time for yourself, like doing things, not beating yourself up and everything as well.